Hi, hello. Is this Carice?
Yeah, this is Carrie.
Hey, Carice. I'm so sorry about not calling you on time. I was getting my new apartment, and that's why I couldn't return the call. Just wanted to reach out personally and ask if you wanted to do the call right now, or if you want to reschedule for another date.
It's okay, I can do it right now.
All right, so perfect. Carice, this call is going to be recorded and potentially uploaded to the channel. How can I help you?
Mhm. Okay, so just to give you a quick preview or a background, I'm 23. I'm from Jamaica. I've been in the States about 5 years. So
Okay.
I've always, I guess, been against financing a vehicle. So ever since I've been here, I've been through at least six used cars. They always break down, but I just refuse to
Mm,
finance a car. Last year, when COVID hit, my car broke down and I needed a car to go to work.
mm-hmm,
So I built I built credit limit over the years. I have 30,000 in credit limit, and I
mm,
used it to buy a vehicle. Now
mm.
I'm drowning in debt, and
Okay,
plus
so
I
let's
had
let's
to.
let, let's break this down, okay?
Hmm.
What do you want from this call exactly? You want me to help you get out of debt?
Yes, basically get out of debt and see how I can, I guess, enhance my income.
So, did you buy this car with credit cards or did you finance this car?
No, credit cards, credit
Okay.
card.
Now, how much is this car worth? How much you
I
owe on
pay.
this car?
I, I own it, but I just owe the credit card company basically.
How
So
much do
I'm
you owe
not
them?
financing.
You're still
Right now
finances.
I'm
You're
in
still borrowing money from somebody else. How much do you owe?
right now like $12,000 in credit card debt.
Okay. Now, here is what I want you to understand, right? If you have
Hmm.
$12,000 in credit card debt, and what's the average interest rate that you actually pay?
It's 13.99.
You pay 13.99 on your credit cards?
Yeah,
That means you must have
it's
a
just
pretty good
one
credit
credit
score.
card.
Oh wow, so one
Huh?
credit score had that much of a limit. Okay,
No, that card is 18,000.
awesome. So look, here's what's going on here, right? $12,000 multiplied by 13, that's around $1,516 that's being charged to you in interest. That's around $130 that it actually costs you every single month in interest just to own this car. Now, I want to kind of like dispel the idea first that used cars don't work, okay? I know you
Hmm.
had a few experiences. However, when you bought your used car, what process did you use to buy this car exactly? Did you buy a certified used car or did you buy a car from just a person?
It was from a dealership.
Okay. And before you bought the car, did you get it checked out from an external mechanic?
No, I bought it from somebody that I know, but he
Okay.
owns a dealership.
Okay. So here's the thing. I just bought my first used vehicle, and I contacted
Hmm.
my friend that like he buys a lot of cars. He buys them in bulk, so he buys it from auctions. And if you know, auctions have a lot of messed up cars, but he knows how to buy cars. So I said, hey, how do you want me to buy this car? And he said, tell me before you buy this car, you take it to a full through inspection. Now because you're not basically a mechanic, you take it to a mechanic and you ask for a full inspection of the car that might cost like around $50 or like $75. And on top of that, to put the computer inside to make sure that all the programming in this car is actually okay. So it's kind of like you can spend $100 on making sure the car is perfect. But if you
Hmm.
buy a car that's messed up, well, that's going to cost you even more money. Because when I bought my car, I paid cash for it. But I knew that a lot of things were wrong with it. For example, I knew the tires needed to be changed, I knew the brakes needed working, and I knew the mirrors needed broken. And it needed fixing. But I knew, for example, the transmission was okay, the battery was okay, all the other things were okay. Because basically, that as an advanced auto parts, they checked out the whole car from top to bottom, took them around 2-3 hours to make sure everything was okay with that car. So I'm saying this to make sure that you understand next time, if you do buy another car, you buy it used, don't trust the person. You take it to a professional that has nothing to do with that dealership or with that person to get you an independent checkup on that car. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
yeah, because every single car, okay, Kyrie's, every single car is going to be used at some point. And if used cars suck, then that means that basically cars just suck overall because every single car is going to be used. It happens to be you just gotta check the car out, make sure everything's fine before you actually go ahead and buy. So that's the little guide that I want to give you when it comes to buying a car. However, here's what happens with what you just did right here. Tommy, I don't want to finance a car, so I use my credit cards to buy the car. Now, it's a theory here, but in reality, the word financing is just you basically borrowing money and paying it over time, right? That's what it means. So if you borrow money from a credit card company and now you're paying it over time, in a way, that's also financing, right? Same thing.
Okay.
Now, usually what I recommend is whenever you're going to buy a car, you buy cash and you basically don't use credit because it's just going to cost you money, and you should just be able to buy a car that you can actually afford. And you do like the whole checkup thing. Now, if I were you right now, my main questions would be, first of all, how much money do I make per month?
2,000 and change. That's 2,000 and change on an 80-hour basis with overtime, 3,000 something.
80-hour basis. You work 80 hours a week, or you mean 80 hours in total?
No, 80 hours. 80 hours bi-weekly.
Okay, so 40, 40, 40, 40. It's a full-time job.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do you do for work? You just have one job?
And I do Uber Eats on the side.
How much does that bring in?
Not much, probably $300.
That's something.
But I don't do it as much as I should say.
Okay. Now, all right. So what's your how much do you spend per month? Do you have any savings?
No, that's the thing. I'm trying to make money, but I'm also losing money because I started buying stocks and now I'm like $700 and something in the negative. But right now my portfolio is like 1,600 and change.
We'll get to investing later in the video. Okay. The first thing I wanna get a hold of is your budget and how much you actually spend money. Now, a lot of people think that basically a lot of the times that what's going to fix my problem is going to be making more money, right? It's kind of like, imagine if you have a bucket and it has a hole inside and you're thinking like, what I need is more water. And you keep throwing more water in it and it keeps getting empty. Now, what that means is basically when you have a bad system when it comes to managing money, it doesn't matter how much money you make because you're probably going to put it to the bad system and then the money's going to just flow out. I tell you that from experience because I had that same issue where I made a lot of money, I spent it all, and I thought that making more money would fix it, but then I also made more money and I spent it all also. And then I happened to manage my money when I lost basically everything, and I was making like around like $60 per week. That's when I said, I need to get a hold of my money. I need to find out what's going on. And that's why, Kyrese, you see, for example, a lot of people that win the lottery, and you ever notice that a lot of them, like 2 years later, like they don't have any money?
Definitely, yep.
Yeah. So money's not the problem here. It's your system. And it's not your fault. You just don't know. So that's fine. So Tommy, what system can I have to kind of like develop and have control over my money? Well, the first thing is I would make a bare bone budget. We call it a triple B budget. That means you take care of only the necessities. Only the necessities are going to be your expenses, which is just one account for your money. Now, that means, what are the necessities, Tommy? You have shelter. That's one. How much do you spend there, Kyrese?
$725.
Okay, $725. You have utilities. That means light, gas, and internet. How much do you pay there?
Gas is like 80 and light is like 40.
So that's 120. And then what's your internet? Okay, what's your insurance?
Internet, no internet.
What's the insurance?
$242.
$242. $242?
Yep, and that's just for basic coverage.
Wait, what do you have? You have a mortgage?
I don't have a mortgage. I pay rent.
What are you paying insurance for? Oh, this is insurance for yourself?
No, this is for the vehicle.
Oh, no. That's separate. That's separate. So utilities, that's 120 then. I'm talking about light, utilities to the house. Then you have, for example, groceries, right?
Yeah.
How much do you spend on groceries per month?
About 200.
That is that's exactly how much you should spend per person. That's awesome. Congratulations. You eat a lot at home?
Thank you. Could you repeat that?
You eat a lot at home?
Yes, I cook like literally every day. I barely eat out. I don't have name brand shoes. I don't go anywhere, but I
That's
just
awesome.
can't seem. I don't
It's
know what's
okay.
going
It's
on.
just a system. It's a system. Now the last expense is going to be transportation, and this is going to be the most expensive thing for you. So you have four aspects here, right? You have insurance on this car, you have gas, you have maintenance, and then you have what it costs you, like the actual loan, right? So from my calculations, if you owe on this car $12,000, I think the math told me that it was like around 130 per month. Was it? Like, let me see. What's your minimum payment per month on this car? On the credit card.
275.
$275. What is the
Yeah.
maintenance on this car? Like, you get the oil change frequently, every few months. Get the tires pressure checked every month.
No, just the oil change.
Okay, so oil changes, tire changes, and checkups every 5,000 miles. That's how a car lasts you, okay?
Okay.
So oil changes, check the tires every month. You can take it, for example, to a Costco. They fill it up for you for free. And then you can basically check general maintenance every 5,000 miles or so to make sure that everything is flowing correctly, and check the brakes and everything like that, okay? Cars require maintenance. So let's just say, for example, you set aside $25 per month just for that. By the time it comes in
Okay.
6 months, that'll be, for example, what's 25 times 6? That's somewhere around $150. So that should help you out. You have gas. How much do you spend on that?
A lot.
Per
Because I
month?
do Uber Eats too. Like a month, probably 150.
Okay, so you can tell how that doesn't make sense, right? Because you make 300 from Uber Eats, but then you spend half your money on gas. So something's
Yeah.
wrong there, right? And then you have insurance. How much is your insurance?
For the car, 242.
242. So this car, literally, okay, this is the math here. We have basically
Liability.
25. Yeah, there you go. That's the word. So $25 for maintenance. $275 minimum payment for the credit card. $150 for the gas, and then what was it? No way. That can't be correct. So you have 242 for the insurance,
For the insurance.
150 for the gas, 25 for the maintenance, and then lastly for the loan, 275. That is a total of $692 divided by what you make, which is $2,000 a month. That is literally 34% of your income being eaten out by this car. Massive liability. So again, I like to try to solve problems coming from what would I do if I were in your shoes, right? Because that's the only thing I can do. Just picture what you would do. So the first thing is I would try to get a second job that's more sustainable. For example, whether it's delivering pizzas or working a second job at a retail store, whatever it is, something that can bring in money after you're done with your normal job. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. But then you have a tough decision to make, okay? That decision is basically, hey, do I want to keep this car or do I not want to keep this car? So just to go over here, just to add up your whole budget here. If you spend $725 on rent, if you spend $120 on utilities, $200 on food, and then $692 on your car, you should still have that's only $1,737. You told me, Paris, that you spent you get $2,000 plus $300 from Uber Eats. That's $2,300. So you should still have an extra almost $600 per month. Where's that money?
I never pay the bare minimum for my credit card. I try to put
I
at
see.
least 400.
You still have $200 left.
never-
Do you have any cash on you at all?
No cash, just my investment account here, which is 1,600.
Okay, we'll get to that. Now, here's what I would do if I were in your shoes, right? First, I would get this budget, find out exactly what I spend money on, have it listed, those four main things. Everything else I would cut out, just focus on those four main things. Then I would start the first step of financial freedom. That means you start to get rid of debt using the avalanche method. Now, that means that I believe that money has 6 jobs. Those 6 jobs are going to be, you want to write this down, okay? The 6 jobs are basically emergencies. So your first step is going to be, I want you to stop paying the debt, just pay the minimum payment on it, but I want you to make a priority of saving your first $1,000 for emergencies. So if anything goes wrong while you're doing this program, you can basically say, hey, I have this cash right here, let me use this. get back on my feet, then rebuild it back up to $1,000, and you have that like a little safety net. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then you have investments, right? The second job for money. Money should make you more money. But your priority in the first step is paying off debt. So right here, you're only allowed to invest just 1% into your retirement accounts because I want you to set them up correctly and I want you to learn how to automate it. That's all I want you to do here. That means you set up a Roth IRA with M1 Finance or Vanguard, and then I want you to also talk to your employer about your 401k. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't want you picking stocks because you've been losing at that, and picking stocks is hard work, and you already have a lot of hard work, right? So I want you to learn more about index funds. If you click on the latest video that I have and you scroll down to the description, you'll see a link to M1 Finance. When you click that link, it shows you exactly what I invest into. If you want to copy that, you can feel free to do so. And it's a basic portfolio of ETFs that basically track the market. So that way you're not trying to invest into one thing, and if that goes down, then you have a problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
But I would just recommend talk to your employer. If they have a 401k, say I want to take 1% off my salary every time I get paid, and they will do it. Okay?
Okay.
I just want you to get started. That's all it is. Don't worry about making money right now because it's costing you way too much money right now, this car. Then the third job is money should pay your debts, right? It should fix your mistakes. So this is where things get tricky here. You have two options. I pay this car off that costs $12,000, which is half of my annual income, which is insane. Or do I sell this car? And what happens right now is, Kyrie's, is that right now we have a shortage of cars. So you might be able to sell that car for an even amount, sell the car, cut your losses, pay the credit card off, and then boom, you're debt free. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Where do you live?
Florida.
Okay. The only worry that I have is that you need a car in Florida, 100%. So my strategy would be, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this second job as fast as possible. Okay? I'm going to find out exactly how much this car can sell for. If this car can sell for example, for $13,000 and leave me with $1,000, boom, I can sell that car. I'm good to go. I can use that $1,000 to buy a cheap car or $500 to buy a cheap car. I just want you to go from point A to point B. Okay, that's all I want you to do. And then once you're done with that car and done with that debt, you can basically just rebuild your little savings accounts and then buy a better car, a car that costs $2,000 or $3,000. Now, if you make $2K right now and you add, for example, another job, that's an extra $1,000 per month. That means in the first 2-3 months, you can save without this car, honestly, because, you know, without this car, Kyrie's, right, you would be able to save so much more money because without this car, you would only be spending $725 on rent, $120 on the utilities, and $200 on food. That means out of your $2,000 what you make right now, you have $955 left over. If you can make an extra $1,000 by using your time right now currently, that means you can save around $2,000 almost per month. That means in your first month or second month, you can go out there and buy either a $2,000 car or a $4,000 car. But before you buy it, you take it to a mechanic first. Check this car out for me, please. Make sure that it's okay. Make sure you buy a car that's not like running on its last legs with like 300,000 miles. The car that I bought was a 2014 Toyota Prius, and it had 91,000 miles. Pretty solid, pretty good. I got it checked out completely. Everything was good. The battery was good. However, those cars are here to save the world. They're not here to save your pocket. So I would recommend that car.
Right.
I would recommend, for example, a Toyota Corolla. I would recommend Toyota Camry, a Honda Civic, like cars that are reliable and they're also cheap, especially to fix. And you can actually maintain it. The most expensive thing to fix in a car is going to be the transmission. If a car is solid, all you have to do is oil changes, make sure the filters are good, make sure the battery is good, and just maintain it. Take it every 3 or 6 months to the mechanic. Be like, hey, I want to do some basic maintenance here, and they'll help you. That way they maintain it.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm telling you. If you sell this car and you buy, for example, a little hoopty of $500, you can be debt free by this month. If you choose to do that, great. That's probably what I would do personally, because I don't see myself owning a $12,000 car when I only make, for example, $24,000 per year. It's just too much. It's too much car for you. So what I would do is if you do that, right, great. If you don't do that, well, the option is that, well, you try to get another job.
Yeah.
And if you can make, for example, another $1,000, so that's $1,000 right there, plus the $250 you have extra in income. Now you can pay that towards the car. And since you owe $12,000, it would take you, let's say, would it be like around 11 months? Somewhere like around like 10 months to be 100% debt free. But you also own your car. The big sacrifice and the big option here is that one option, you're debt free by this month. And then the other option, you're debt free, for example, 10 months from now, but you get to own the fancy car that you actually want. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's a Toyota Camry.
Yeah, but what year is it?
2015.
Well, that's so expensive.
No, I didn't pay 12,000 for the car. I paid 9,500.
Oh, so
with
the
taxes
debt
and
has been
everything.
rising.
Yes, I had to get an apartment, so that's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you this option I usually don't give, because I don't want you to get into more debt. But you're not getting into more debt if you're switching over the debt. You could potentially get this car financed and then lower the rate if you still have a good credit score to like around 3% or like 4%. That way, like, you're being a little bit more comfortable, and then you can tackle it better, right? Because there's no way in heck you're gonna be able to. It's so hard to do that, because to finance a car, they're gonna finance it basically on the value of it, and it's not worth how much it costs you right now. So it's gonna be, and if you sell this car, you're still gonna have that little credit card balance of around like $4,000 in there, because you can't get that much money for it. Let's do some quick math here, because I really want to help you here. So what I use to check the value of a car is KBB. That's Kelly's Blue Book, and they'll tell you basically like the value of a car. You go to My Car Value. You type in the year. In your case, you have a 2015. The make is Toyota. The model is Camry, correct?
Yeah.
How many miles does it have?
109.
109,000 miles.
Yeah.
And what's your zip code? Okay, and let me click OK here. And do you have, for example, LE sedan 4-door, or do you have a hybrid XL, XSE?
Sedan.
Okay, sedan 4-door. Okay, LE. Okay, great. Next. Now, okay, what equipment is in your vehicle? I don't think you have anything crazy on it. Just the price with the standard equipment. What car is it? What color is it?
Silver.
So, okay, silver. What's the condition? Fair, good, very good, excellent?
No, it's very good.
Okay. Is that your opinion, or would that be the opinion of somebody trying to buy it?
No, man. Somebody trying to buy it.
Okay, good. All right, so let's click that right there. And now it is loading up, and it's going to tell us. If you want to do this yourself at home, just go to Kelly Blue Book, and then you put in all your information, and it spits out exactly how much this car is actually worth. Now, according to Kelly Blue Book right now, a car like that you were describing is worth between $9,600 to $11,366. So if you could put this car, for example, in the open market, and let's say you get $10,000 for it, you would be left with $3,000 in debt. All right? So now, if you're left with $3,000 in debt, well, potentially you could get, your credit score is good?
Yeah.
What is it?
29.
That's pretty good. So potentially you could get a balance transfer credit card. You can look those up, balance transfer credit cards. Because the thing is, I don't want you to...
I did that too.
And what happened?
I applied for the city double cashback. I got $3,000 and I transferred.
That's not the one I
APR.
recommend. There's a City Simplicity card, and there you want to look up exactly what I'm saying here. Look up best balance transfer credit cards, and it'll pop up with the best ones. Don't look for cashback or any like crazy features. Look for the one with the most extended time. Potentially, let's look this up, because I want to give you a full service here, so you don't walk out of here not knowing what to do. So you go to Google, you type in best balance transfer credit cards. The reason I tell you go to Google and I don't tell you, for example, like one right now, is because they're constantly changing. So I don't know which one is best right now. That's why I always look it up. NerdWallet has great, for example, like information. You click the NerdWallet link. Right now, it's the City Diamond Preferred card, and I think they give you an intro balance of around 18 months. You also have the Bank of America one that gives you, I think, let me see, 18 months also on balance transfers. And you also have the Discover one that also gives you 18 months. I'm seeing like the trend is between 18 months to 20 months. So now picture this, okay? If you can qualify for one of these credit cards and you get the credit card and you're able to transfer over the balance left over from this car, boom. Now you have 18 months to pay this credit card off basically 100% interest free. That means $3,000 divided by 18 months. The payments are only like $166. I don't want you to go 18 months trying to pay this thing, okay? I want you to push it. I want you to finish it off as fast as possible. I want all your extra money to be put down towards this card. That way you're fully done. I don't want you using your credit cards anymore. I want you to go ahead and put one small bill on each credit card, put them on auto pay in full, and cut the physical credit cards. That way you never go into debt again. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay, yeah.
The interest rate is way too high. If you try to basically invest money, make 5%, 8%, 12%, but you're paying somebody 14%, it's just gonna cancel out all your gains. Does that make sense?
That's true, definitely.
Okay. So I want you, look up these credit cards, okay? It's about long-term balance transfers. You apply for one of them, you transfer over the balance potentially, you try to sell this car. And you know, if you apply for one of these credit cards today and they're approved for, let's say, like $10,000, you have a good credit score, or like $5,000, you can transfer over that balance today. They're gonna charge you around 5%, but 5% is better than 14% for right now. And then you have 18 months to pay this thing in full, okay?
Okay.
You gotta try to sell this car. Are you gonna sell the car or are you gonna keep the car? Which one are you gonna do?
I was thinking about selling it because I hate being in debt.
Okay,
Absolutely hate it.
Okay, then the big difference is, right, you're gonna go 10 months in debt trying to pay off a car that is too expensive for you, or you can go, for example, 1 month, sell this car, have somebody else deal with it, and then buy a used vehicle. Toyota Corollas, Camrys are great, Honda Civics are great. You buy a 2014 model, they'll have usually they might have the backup camera. If they don't worry about it. You can just get, for example, you have a backup camera in your car right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if your car that you want does not have a backup camera, but it is in great condition, remember they install that for around $400 to $500. So if you can save $2,000 by not having that and install it by Best Buy or Advanced Auto Parts, whoever installs it, you can just basically have it install yourself, okay? And have exactly what you want.
Okay.
So don't really worry about those little features, okay? When it comes to Apple CarPlay, Android CarPlay, all those things can be installed in a car after you buy, even if it does not have it yet, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So first step is basically you get out of debt. That means you get a balance transfer card, transfer over the balance over, you pay, you sell the car, you pay that off, you have some savings. Because by the way, if let's say for example you sell the car for $10,000, you transfer over $5,000, you use the rest of the money to buy that car in cash. When you're gonna buy it between $2,000 to $3,000, no more than that. And then you lock in to pay the rest of the debt that you have. That's going to be somewhere like around leftover, like $4,000 potentially. Now that means if you are making $2,000 plus $1K extra per month, which is very possible, and you no longer have the car expense anymore, you should have left over somewhere around like $1,700 to $2,000. That means in 3 months you're debt free. That is 7 months earlier than your other plan. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Now, once you're debt free, what's the next step? Notice I haven't spoken about investing whatsoever because that comes towards the end. The next step is you save for an emergency account. You know when something breaks down, Kyrese, and then you feel like, damn, I have to go ahead and use my money again. I can't even save money. You know that feeling?
Yes.
The reason is because you don't have an emergency account. So what I want you to do is to save 3 to 6 months of emergencies once you're debt free. That account in a separate account is gonna have money for emergencies. So in your case, if you spend, for example, without this car, like $1,200, that's 1,200 times 3, that's like $3,600. You can have it saved there. If something breaks, you lose your job, anything happens crazy, you can use that money to get back on your feet because you have 3 months worth of expenses, okay?
Yeah.
Then once you're done
Very
there,
important.
yeah, then once you're done there, now we're talking about investing, okay? Now, how do you invest?
Okay.
The answer is you invest between 10 to 20% of your income into your retirement accounts, not taxable accounts here. That means, for example, you can invest into your 401k with your company or your Roth IRA with yourself. If the company, what I usually do is basically, if the company offers you, for example, a match, I would basically invest enough to match it fully, get all that free money, and whatever money is left over, I would put it, for example, into my Roth IRA. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then while you're doing that, while you're investing that automatically, then you start saving up for your first house, your first property. Now, the thing is, right, I think you're 23 years old. How old are you?
23, yeah.
Yeah, you're 23 years old. You've been in the United States for 5 years. The big thing is this, okay? You're going to get paid the amount of money that you get paid based on your skills always. So although you might be investing, for example, into your retirement accounts, it might not be the best idea to start saving up for a house just yet. If you want to, I'll give you the option to say, well, Tommy, by this point, I'm debt-free. I have an emergency account. I feel very comfortable. I have a good foundation. I would rather invest my money into myself. How do you do that? You decide, do I want to do trade school? Do I want to do college? Do I want to get a license? Now, if you become, for example, a nurse or a carpenter, a plumber, whatever you want to do, AC repair person, whatever, like elevator repair person, you get maybe between 40,000 to 50,000 to 60K. Now we're having a different conversation. $40,000, that means somewhere like around like $3,500 that you're making per month. 60K is like around like $5,000, and so on and so on. I want you to fix your problem with what you have right now, because you made this problem with your current income. But I want you, before you start saving up for a house and all this stuff, you start to consider like investing in yourself and getting a better skill. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I've been thinking about that, but I just don't know yet.
Yeah. So you don't know what to pick as far as like a degree?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So I have an exercise for that also. Now, if I were you again, I'm 23 years old. By the way, you're single, or you have like a husband or anything like that?
No, I'm single.
Okay, you're very independent. I like that. If I'm an independent person, I live alone, I'm trying to figure out exactly what to do next with my life. What I would do is basically, you have time. I want you to grab a piece of paper, and I want you to type in your top 10 dream jobs, okay? Don't think about, I can't do it, I'm not smart enough, it's impossible. Write down your top 10 dream jobs. I'm talking about career. A job you would love to do for the next 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, whatever it is. You write down the top 10. Then I want you to do all the research on these jobs. How long is it gonna take for me to graduate from it? It doesn't have to be, for example, just like college. It could be like a trade job or a license, that's fine also. How much money does it make? Is it a job that's in demand? What is the day-to-day like? How do you find it out? You go on YouTube and you watch people that have those jobs, check it out, okay?
Okay.
So you watch videos about someone that's an electrician on YouTube to find out what the day-to-day actually is. What's good about the job, what's not good about the job. Once you do all this research, you should have an extra page or 2 pages worth of information. Then I want you to start crossing off job by job by job by job. You should have 3 left after you're done. These are your top 3 jobs left over, okay? After you've done all this research. And then I want you to pick one and cross off the other 2, and that's the one that you're actually going to go with, okay? Now, that job should not just be based on money. It should be based on also making sure you like it, because you're going to be doing this for a long time. I would not be a doctor no matter how much money you pay me. I just cannot do that stuff. I can't see blood, okay?
That's true.
It's not just the money. So make sure that you like it, you're good at it, and it also makes you money, right? That's a bonus. That's the whole idea. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then once you're done with it, you start to save up money for college. Is this your first time going to college?
Yeah.
Okay, if it's gonna be your first time, here's what I would recommend. There's a guy, his name is Anthony O'Neill, okay? And he has a book, it's called The Debt-Free Degree. It's a great book, you should read it. And he's from the people from Dave Ramsey and stuff like that. But the book teaches you exactly how to go to school 100% debt-free. And the overall concept is that you apply for a lot of scholarships, you get jobs, you pay cash, and on top of that, you go to community college first, you get your 2 first years of general education for a very steep discount, And then after you're done there, then you go to a 4-year school to get your real education in those 2 years. But by that point, you have savings to pay for school with money. You also have scholarships. You also have financial aid. That should help you graduate 100% debt free. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I want you to remember this, okay? While you're doing this, it's easy to have this conversation. It's going to be harder to put everything into action. While you're doing this, if it sounds like this is going to take 4 years for me to graduate or 1 year for me to get this license, the answer is, remember, it's all about the long-term team for the win. I don't want you making $2,000 for the rest of your life. I'd rather you sacrifice a year or 2 years of your life and then be able to earn a lot more money and have a better quality of life. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. You have any questions for me?
Okay. No, that's it. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. And I
Okay.
watch your videos all the time. Even when I'm at work, I listen to you like music.
Thank you. And by the way, these calls are not like a one-time thing. If you run into trouble or you want to call me again, you can feel free to schedule another call and I'll get on the phone with you again, okay? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a
Tommy,
good day.
Have a good day.
All right, you too.
All
Bye-bye.
right, you too.
All right. Guys, I'm so happy I called this young lady. You know, I'm so happy because I just signed a lease for my apartment and I was like, I'm not gonna be able to take the call. I'm so sorry. But then I was like, let me call her right now, have a conversation with her and find out exactly how it can actually help. I'm so happy I did it, you know, because sometimes people freeze up and the concept that I'm not gonna finance at a low rate, I'm just gonna use credit cards is a terrible idea, okay? Very bad idea. Never do that. Never do that. I don't recommend you get into debts, but that's not the concept that you want to have. Credit card is better than a normal loan for a card. The answer is no, because credit cards are usually supposed to be, for example, for debt that is unsecured, which means higher rates. While, for example, a secure loan, like for example, the financing when they hold the title of the car, usually is going to be at a lower rate. That's why those loans are basically at a lower rate because they have the collateral of the car. If you don't pay, we take the car. We sell the car, we make our money back, right? That's usually how it works. However, the overall idea is that I'm so happy I spoke to her. It's that simple, step by step. And sometimes once you get you're out of debt, you have a full-blown emergency account, and you're investing some money, the next obvious step is, hey, just start upgrading your life. You know, saving for a home is great, but do that eventually, right? Do that a little bit later on. Because if you can invest $20,000 into your career and then make $40,000 per year for the rest of your life, that's a lot better. That's why I recommend that, okay, guys? I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for these calls. I really appreciate it. If you want to join me on the next call, feel free to do so. I love you guys so much, man. You guys don't understand. I really appreciate these calls a lot. If you guys want to talk to me next time, well, link is down below. Schedule a call today. On top of that, also, what else? Subscribe, like the video, appreciate it a ton. Also, follow me on Instagram, Bryson. If you want to DM me there, also DM me there. If you want more content like this, here's a video right here, and click my face right here. And as always, peace.